Hello, welcome to our project about solar energy of countries in the world. Okay, and let me introduce our group members. We have Anna Gabriel Pessoa, Daniel Herrera, and me, Ben Dung. Okay, and let me give you an overview about our project. Okay, nowadays more and more countries try to figure out the new energy resources to replace oil and gas and reduce the population. And what is the best choice? Of course, this is the solar energy. So that's why we pick up this topic to be our project. Okay? So let's move to the Excel file, which we will import it later to have more information about it. Okay? So in Excel file, we have 6 columns from A to F, but we only use column A, B, C, and F in our project. The reason is because column D and E is almost the same with the column F, but you change the unit, okay? So we have 6 columns and 996 rows right here, minus the first one for the title, so we have 995. So we have the metric of 995 multiple to 4 or 6. It doesn't matter. Okay? And as you can realize here is we have several countries which can repeat it so many times. So later I will use the function we call unique to let it appear one time only. Okay? And let's talk about the class. We have maximum 10 classes for here in here. And it doesn't require that each country must have 10 classes. Okay? So what does it mean? What does class mean here? And when the class increased, the kilowatt per meter squared per day will increase. Okay? It will increase. So if you keep the meter square and don't change it, it means that the energy production is more and more. So how to explain this one? It's because the technology is better. Okay? And later we have the graph to talk about this one later. Okay? So let's move back to MATLAB. MATLAB. Okay? Cool. First of all, I will try to run our program first. Okay? And our algorithm is you have to input or import the Excel file first. And for the user, they have to input the 6 favorite country. And why they have to do it? It's because when they input it, they will control the graph will appear later, and they will give themselves the points later for a small game. And of course, we don't have any gift to give to you, but it works. Okay, let's move back here. After you run it, you will receive the warning is you cannot put the country twice or more than one time. Okay, and if you enter the country which not on the Excel file, there will appear a warning and let you input it again. Okay, for example, I input China, we have it. I input Vietnam, we have it. I input Canada, we have it. Input Brazil, we also have it. Albania, we have it. And I input Japan, we have it. Cool. And now, as you see here, 3 things pop up. Okay. Okay. So let's forget it. Come back to our MATLAB to talk about the code at the same time. Okay. So this code right here, I will use to import the data file from an Excel. From Excel, and of course put the warning and display something right here. Okay, you remember you need to input 6 countries, so right here we will have 6 countries part. Okay, and let's talk about the first one. Okay, for the first one, as you can see right here, we have a loop, and this loop we need help from our professor, Dr. Zelisko, and thanks so much for his assistance, because this loop can help us to use the string compare. For that reason, the user will not worry that it will input uppercase or lowercase for the country. Okay, and C1 will store the class. Data new will store the total productions of the country which the user input. Okay, and move down, we will see your preferred country is not on the list. It will appear when you enter the country which is not on the Excel file here. Okay, and let's move to the second country. We remain everything which is copy and paste it, but we will add one more thing, is when you duplicate the country, it will show that you cannot enter the same country. Please try again, and it'll give you an error, which means you have to do the whole thing again. And we have B2 here, means that we use that one to sum, and we use with sum to sum this column, the F column together to figure out the total energy production. Okay, and that's all we used for user input, and later after user input we have the graph, the first graph right here. Okay, with the 6 country with different colors, and the country on the x-axis and the total energy production on the y-axis, and we use these code right here to create that bar graph. Okay, it is the axis, y label, x label, title, and this one we use to set up the color for the graph. And why we need to use this graph is because it will show you the highest total energy production of the country, of 6 country the user already input before. And right here is Brazil is the country who produce the most solar energy. Next is China, Canada, and Japan, and Vietnam, and Albania. But you know what? If you look at this graph, you don't understand it more detail or clear why each countries can produce more and more than other country. Okay, for that reason we create the second graph we call figure 2, and you can see here it shows the whole 6 country the user inputted before. Let's check with China. Okay, when the class is increased, the class increased from 1 to 10, the total energy production. What happened with the total energy production? Okay, as I mentioned above, when the class increased, okay, the kilowatt per meter square per day will increase, which means the technology is increased. So logically, we will think, okay, after all, the total energy production will increase because everything is increased. But in fact, the total energy production will decrease when the class increased for most countries. Why? The reason is very simple. It's because the country cut off the land, which means they cut off the meter square here. Okay, they cut off everything, and why need to cut off? It's because their population is increased, their population is expanded. So that's why they have to cut off the lands to use the solar energy, to produce solar energy. You can check it with China. Of course, China, as we all know, China has a lot of people. Okay, and Vietnam, also Canada, Brazil, and Japan. But luckily, when we put Albania, we will see it increased when the class is increased. And I'm pretty sure that you already have an answer, right? Got it. Cool. Okay. So the next thing is you have to give yourself a point, and like it is the small game. Okay. After you enter the 6th country, China, Vietnam, Canada, Brazil, Albania, and Japan. Okay. You will give yourself a point based on what? Based on the table of top 6 right here. But remember, don't look at this one before you give the point here. Okay, so you just guessed. Okay, for example, you think you will match 2 countries with the table here. You click 2, but if you think you correct 3, you click 3, and later we'll know the final answer. Okay, let's follow me. Click number 4. Okay, but actually, I just correct 2. So which one is that? And at this time, you have to check the table of 6 here. Okay, so I'm correct about China and Brazil. Thanks, God. Okay. So just scroll down. I use this code to create the second graph, and this code right here to create the table of 6, and the final code right here to create the menu options. Okay, so let me summarize everything we talked from the beginning until now. Okay, for this project, we not focus on a lot of things like the calculation, or anything like that, because I already put one calculation right here, which you can use to calculate the area which each country used to produce the solar energy. But I don't let it work. It because as an engineering, okay, you just give you an overview, and at that time you don't need a lot of numbers. You just need the general information about it. So that's why we don't show it. But if you want to know it, just come here and you can have the equation to calculate it. Okay. Okay. Finally, we will mention, just repeat it one more time to make sure we will come to our goal one more time. Okay. So is nowadays a lot of people, include engineering, want to create more energy based on the solar, based on the sun. But the only thing is our limitation is the population increase very fast, and we cannot stop it. A lot of countries cannot stop it. And when the population is increased, the government or of that country have to cut off the land which used to produce the solar energy. Okay. So what does it mean? It means that the solar energy will increase or not based on the technology. It's based on the population nowadays. So thank you for watching our video and also our project. Okay. Thank you so much. Goodbye.